Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. Oh my gosh, thank you, Ocean Lover. You guys, I just want to take a moment and thank everyone. Like, you guys have been so supportive, and the amount of love and support that has been outpouring since yesterday. I'm trying not to cry. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. I can't express enough how thankful not just me, but my whole family is. Like, you guys have no idea. So, let's get started. I'm going to do a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, also for your cross watchers, also for people who just find themselves on this video and find themselves resonating despite no Pisces in their chart, no Pisces in their life. So I was told, just breathe. I kept asking, what's this message going to be about? What's this message going to be about? And I hear, just breathe, just breathe. Just let yourself take a moment to breathe. So let's see what the message from soul is going to be. Oh my God. I keep popping out the rubber bands. Okay. So here goes. All right. Let me just get all these cards. All right, here goes. How are you guys feeling today? How's the energy like for you? Where do you watch from, and what's the energy feel like where you're at? I always love seeing where people are from. It's a very interesting thing. Very, very interesting thing. All right, here goes. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Tanaya. Chicago. Nice. Arizona. Ooh, you're going to be in California? I've traveled to, I want to say, like 40 states. A lot of states. I've been to most of them. Oh, you're in Wyoming. Nice. I'm sorry I keep talking shit about Wyoming. Wyoming's actually beautiful. Uganda, South Carolina, South Africa. Okay, let us see. Let us see. I guess I just have a sour attitude towards Wyoming because I got sucked out of the RV. Literally yanked out of the RV. I thought I was all badass. The wind was insane. One year we were driving through Wyoming, and the wind, there was like, I don't know. The wind was insane. It pulled open our awning on the freeway. So my husband pulls over really, really quickly. And he had to climb up to the top of the RV, and the RV is shaking like this. Like, no joke, no joke. And he was like, this is not safe. This is not safe. We can't do this. And I was like, here, let me do it. And because I was in the RV with my head sticking out the window talking to him. I was like, here, let me do it. And mind you, I was like maybe 110 pounds. And I was feeling all badass until I opened the RV door, at which point the wind blew, yanked me out of the RV, and I was like face first on the ground like this. And because I am so small, every time the wind gusted, I could feel my body lifting off the ground. And I was like, oh my God, I had to grab onto the grass. Luckily, the grass was kind of long, and I had to grab onto it. And then my husband had to rush. He picked me up by my waist, tossed me back into the RV. He's like, keep your ass in the RV. And I was like, oh my God. Never got over it. So now anytime I'm like, fucking Wyoming. It's not really the people, it was the wind. I'm like, fuck that shit, never coming back to you again. Wouldn't you know, when I lived in Northern Colorado, every time I had to travel to California, that was the route through Wyoming. Oh, well. But it is beautiful there. I was looking at some ranches for sale. Like, there was this huge property. Gorgeous. It had like a huge ranch, like a 3-story ranch with a couple cottages. It had like its own stream. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I was considering like contacting the realtor until I remembered the win. I was like, fuck that. Keep your ranch. I was all about hurt again. All right. Card number 41. Bring it into form. Right now, you are walking towards something. All right. Walking, not running, not prancing. It's just a very calm, very intentional movement towards something. All right. And what that something is really, really decided by you. This something could be, it could be a person, it could be a circumstance, it could be an event, just a whole bunch of different possibilities that we're really trying to allow ourselves to experience. Okay. So card number 10, love. I think this is part of your lesson in self-love. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to experience self-love in the way we're supposed to experience it. Sometimes our version of self-love requires us to hollow out portions of our heart, hollow out all sorts of different things. Um, oh shoot, I always thought that was a hollowed portion. Oh, they're two hearts, one on top of the other. No, this is not talking about the pedo thing. It's two. I'm wondering if this is like your shadow aspect, the love for your shadow rising to the surface, and all of these like other opportunities to experience, to feel love. Yeah, that's your shadow. That's definitely parts of your shadow coming up and helping you to realize, to experience love on a much deeper scale. Card number 6, the burden. If you are going to allow yourself, just really allow yourself to recognize what you're doing, which is probably carrying other people and their drama on your shoulder, you're going to struggle. Okay. You're going to struggle. You're definitely going to have this thing where you feel exhausted. You're feeling like you carry the weight of the world. You're probably going to keep hearing cock talk. I don't know what that means. Cock talk. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Card number 6, beauty. You have to allow yourself to begin seeing the beauty in your struggle. Okay. You have to allow yourself to begin seeing the truth of who you are, the truth of what this part of your life is trying to teach you, because it's trying to teach you something. It really, really is. It's trying to teach you something. And whatever that is, it has to do with the things that have happened in the past. Burn away your past, ignoring what's going on, ignoring the fact that aspects of your past still greatly affect you. It's painful. It's painful not being able to move forward from something, feeling as though no matter what you do, this thing keeps haunting you. Um, it's hard. It's hard. So we look at how nature functions, right? The whole concept of burning. When when um when a forest has a fire created by lightning or another natural source, it creates a lot of destruction, yeah? But at the same time, that destruction leads to an opportunity for growth. When a forest has not experienced a fire in a very long time, there's a lot of choking out of the dirt, a lot of choking out of the ability to grow. These seeds that fall to the ground, they don't reach the actual earth because there's so much coverage. Now, when burns happen, um, that material from what's already there that gets burned up, it gets reintegrated into the soil, making the soil that much more fertile. I don't know. It makes it that much more able to grow new things. You're clearing away the old, you're burning it away and creating opportunity for not just new growth, but for amplified nourishment, sustainment. So, card number 40, show your support. Mm. It's like this sense that creation keeps trying to show Pisces how deeply Pisces is loved, how deeply you're supported. And it's this sense that maybe you're still not really willing to fully see, fully feel the ways in which creation continues to provide for you as you try and provide for other people, because some Pisceans will never stop doing that. It's not a bad thing if that's who you are. If you're a giver, be a giver. It's not going to serve you to try and be something that you're not. If you are someone who is considerate, it's not going to serve you to try and force yourself to not be overly considerate of other people's suffering, other people's pain, wanting to help. That's who you are. The key to this growth is not ignoring who you are. It has to do with honoring your need to give, to nurture, while using your discernment to help you weed out the people who are just using you, who are just abusing the beauty of your soul. Not everyone needs help. Not everyone needs help. Some people just, hey, if I can get it, I get it. Other people, they do need help, but they never say anything because heaven forbid someone else help them. And then there's people in between. So who do you help? Who do you not help? You help who your heart asks you to help. Just because people find their way to you doesn't mean they were brought to you for you to help. This is a huge thing that we have to really wrap our mind around. Sometimes people are brought to you because they are part of this lesson where your soul is testing you to see if you will choose yourself. Okay? Are you going to choose yourself, your sanity, your safety, your health? Is this helping of someone else going to affect those things negatively? Or is it that you kind of stressed out trying to help someone, but in the end, this is a beautiful thing. This is a moment of growth. The discomfort comes from the recognition of the growth that is approaching. So everyone's answer is going to be different. Okay. We all have different things, different lessons that we're experiencing in this life, different nuances to even similar lessons. And we have to be really, really present in our journey to understand what our soul is begging us to understand. Okay. And sometimes you do understand, but you refuse to believe that you understand. So you'll continue to struggle. You'll continue to look for answers that are not in alignment with the answer you already know you have. Okay. So card number 16, what you want wants you. It wants you. So what do you want? Hmm? Do you know? Do you know what it is you're calling to you? A lot of us don't know what we're calling to us. You want to feel more confident? You want to have a deeper sense of self love? Very common. The soul will bring you challenge. The soul will bring people into your life to challenge your sense of worth, to make you feel very, very small, to deplete you intentionally, to attack your character. Why is that? Why has this always happened to me? Because your soul is teaching you something. Your soul is bringing to you the very people who will trigger this learning. Some of the most potent lessons that I have had, the ones that have grown me the most, they've been the ones that have been most painful. Has it been most painful because someone else hurt me? It's been the most painful because my soul told me already. It told me, girlfriend, stay away from that person. No, no, don't be that way. Let them prove to you that they're a good person. Let them prove you wrong. Don't be like that. Yo, sometimes I wonder if my higher self be like this bitch. Every time I do that, every time I do that, where I hear myself, don't be that way. I screw myself over every single time. Every single time. So now I'm totally like, ooh, you just don't feel right. Hey, I gotta go. I'm out. That's not me saying you're a bad person. No. That's me like, okay, there's some stuff that's off. I don't know what it is. I'm out until I figure it out. And it served me. It served me. And another thing that hurt really, really badly when it came to me trying to convince myself that I was being mean by having intuitive knowing that this is a bad circumstance, bad connection. Um, in those moments, I think what happened was people were brought to me who reflected these aspects of myself that were not ready to allow me to heal. I've talked about this before, where for an 18-month period, 18 months, I attracted group after group after group who professed their love and support of me, undying devotion to me. And I'm like, that's just weird. Stop. Only to have them later, when they could no longer access me, form groups to try and destroy me. Was it because I did something bad to them? No. Was it because I was talking shit? No. Did I rob them, steal from them, malign them in some way? No. All I did was, hey, I'm going to take some time to myself. I'm feeling kind of weird. I don't really know what it's about. Let me just quiet myself down and just be on my own. Yeah, that's all I did. That's all I did. And guess what? Guess what? The things that were said, the things that were done, the attempts, they were all nothing but mirrors of this really abusive internal monologue I was having within myself, within myself. Because for whatever reason, I did not want to accept. I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do because I'm here to help. I'm here to help. That's all it is. I'm here to help. And am I a bad person because I can do something someone else can't? Well, according to these people, yeah, I was. According to these people, I made deals with demons. Well, where does that stem from? Because for most of my life, knowing that I could do things that other people can't, I always question, is this demonic? Am I demonic? Am I demonic? Is that what it is? Is that why I can do this? Is that why I affect things the way I do? Is that why when I say something, it happens? I must be evil because no one else can do this. So I must be evil. I must be a bad person. And that's what was said. I'm a bad person. I'm evil. I made deals with demons. Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't. I just can do things. And it's okay. It's okay for me to be different because I have a different purpose than other people. It's okay for you to be different than me, to see things differently than I do, to process differently, to have different gifts because you're here for a different purpose. And all of us, each of us, our purpose is very, very important, regardless of how publicly visible your work is or how hidden. You're very special. You have a very specific thing that you need to accomplish in this life, and only you can do it. So when people didn't know what I could do, when I wasn't, having a website and letting people witness publicly what I can do, my level of intuition, was I less than? No, because I'm still the same person. The potency of my work didn't increase just because more people are able to witness it. It's still the same. It's still the same. This is all I know. This is all I know. This is what I do. This is my normal. So whether people witness it or not, whether people acknowledge and appreciate it or not, this is my normal. This is my reality. Nothing about me has changed except for my acceptance of the truth of who I actually am. So everything that's brought to you will definitely serve to grow you. And that level of growth, the speed with which you grow, is highly contingent on your level of resistance to your own journey. Okay. So, card number 15, fragment. There are fragments of you coming back to you. Okay. Um, Let me just sip some coffee. God. So, fragment. For some, these are aspects of your higher self, higher levels of consciousness. It's coming back to you through tremendous effort, through opportunities of learning that you are allowing yourself to experience. These aspects are coming back. For others of you, the fragments that are spoken of are those people, people who have attached themselves to parts of you where your energy has become intertwined. I don't know if that intertwinement happened in this life or if it happened in a previous life, but definitely intertwinement. Definitely. Okay. Um, these are two hands. I thought they were one. So one of you has been holding it up. I guess the other is now here to help balance. Okay. So this is about balance. This is about retrieval of your parts that went missing, not necessarily retrieval of individuals. It could potentially mean that, but this is a coming home, a period of coming home. It is the final stretch. You need to just breathe first before you take off, start running towards something that you think you understand, but you probably don't. You kind of have to just slow yourself down. Okay. You kind of just have to slow yourself down. Um, I'm told to kind of dive a little bit deeper in that. Even with my highly sensitive, highly developed, Claire everything, all my Claires are active, and my precog, I have highly developed precognitive ability. I can see things in advance, and not understand what it means. I think I do. but I don't. I think I do, but I don't. So months ago, um, never told my brother. Yeah, about 2 months ago, he was having, some weird chest pain, and I told him, "You can't just go see the doctor. You can't it's not just a regular doctor visit. You have to go to the ER, like, right now." Luckily, he listened to me, because what I had seen the night before was that his heart would stop. He'd come back to life. He'd come back to life, but first his heart has to stop. And I was like, "Oh, he's gonna have a massive heart attack, so if he's at the ER, they can mitigate some of the damage. He'll be fine." He went to the ER. He was having multiple heart attacks, and he was fine. They got him stabilized. He's fine. And fast forward to now, oh, I I guess I didn't understand. I guess I didn't fully understand, because what I saw was him getting a heart transplant. In order to transplant the heart, they have to first stop yours. They have to stop your heart. So, it was one of those things, and I just realized it yesterday. Like, "Oh, shit. He was on a surgical table. He was getting a transplant." You might think you know something. I don't know, do you? Yeah, what I saw, my interpretation of it was partially right, because there were multiple cardiac events that led up to this, which will eventually lead up to that, but I thought I understood. And that's for a lot of things in life, not just that. This all these messages you're gonna come across someone, you're gonna come across someone, specific someone, and I did. Hopefully they didn't see me. I did. I did. I saw them. Did it play out the way I was, like, assuming it would play out? No, it didn't. It didn't. It was, I saw, I left, it's done. That's it. So you might think you know, but do you really? And it's not for me to say that yes or no. I don't know you or your circumstance. I don't know how well you are at deciphering the messages from your soul. Do you know how good you are at it? I know I'm very good at it. And yet still, it often has another layer of meaning. No matter how good I am at seeing, interpreting, and applying this information, it will always have that other layer of meaning that I'm not able to access until this event actually happens. My brother is young, but he's older than me. I'm the baby. The baby. I'm the baby of the family. So, new vision. Oh, that's what I was just talking about. There you are. You're having this moment where you think you're just on your hands and knees, crawling through life and just trying to find your power, trying to find your footing. In reality, you have to see what's actually going on. This new vision will help you to see, to understand, to accept. That's an old you. That's an old version of you finding its way out. So the new you, the one that's more in alignment with your path, at a level of greatness that you're able to utilize at that point. It's time to allow that up. And here's the thing. Layers of your greatness will come back to you through your entire life. You don't just suddenly wake up and you're someone different. This is a process of shedding and revelation, where aspects of you that were hidden away are now being exposed. And if you feel very raw, if you feel very emotional, it's not because you're having a hard time. This is indicative of a layer having been shed. When your skin is peeling and you peel it off instead of allowing it to slough off on its own, what happens? What happens? The part that's exposed, that's fresh skin, is sensitive. It hurts to the touch, to a level of pressure that the other parts of your skin that are still covered in layers don't feel that type of pain. And society would have us believe that, oh, it's because you're weak. Stop being so sensitive. Stop being so callous, so overgrown in your layers that no longer serve you, that you've created a density that blocks you from understanding the gravity and the truth of your process. It is not my fault that you think my sensitivity is a weakness. It's not my fault that you're upside down in your view of this world. Sensitivity is an indicator of elevation and higher sensory perception. Your gifts are coming back to you. If you feel very sensitive, if you feel as though you're overloaded and you can't take any more, you've probably shed layers. And the shedding of these layers are leading to your rise in consciousness. You cannot rise in consciousness without a rise in your sensitivity. You think, I'm going crazy. I'm crying more. Everything's hurting my feelings. I'm either crazy or I'm pregnant, and both are not acceptable. How about a third? You're either crazy, you're either pregnant, or you're either rising in your spiritual sense of self. Because the more in alignment you become with your highest consciousness, the more you will be incompatible with this world we live in the way it is right now. It is not okay with me to see people suffering. It is not okay for me to see people living in tents on the side of the freeway. It is not okay for me that when someone is thought to be a drug addict or homeless, that somehow they're no longer worthy of the respect and dignity all of us are entitled to. None of this is okay with me. Does that make me weak? Because every time I drive into a big city and I see people, this is the reaction every time. I used to be embarrassed. I used to get frustrated. This is the reaction every single time. Every time I see another confirmation of how we have agreed to participate in a program that throws people away, this is the reaction every time: anger, sadness, tears, every single time. And I'm not going to be ashamed of it anymore. This is who I am. I feel deeply. This is part of my power because I feel so deeply. I can't just sit idle. I have to do something and not just keep myself busy, but I have to do something to alleviate the suffering, either on a personal one on one level or globally. Whatever it is that presents itself, I'm doing it. If it's going to alleviate the suffering of people, people I don't know, people I do know, it doesn't matter who you are. All of us are here at this time for a specific reason. None of us should be suffering. Pain is not the same as suffering. Pain is unavoidable. It is a part of life, it's a part of your growth. Pain is necessary, suffering is optional. Suffering comes from a lack of alignment where we cannot see, for some reason, we cannot see that we are all so intimately intertwined that when one of us suffers, all of us do. It's the truth. How many people are we not aware of who came into this life to bear gifts to humanity? But we don't know them because their needs weren't met, and so they're no longer here. What would have happened to humanity if Tesla wasn't murdered? What would have happened if we valued him enough while he was alive that we protected him? What would have happened? How would this world function? What type of debt and environmental pollution would we have right now? We'll never know because we continue to choose to believe we are separate beings. That is just a perception. Let me break it down for you. Your apartheid filters that exist outside on the surface of your auric shield. The calibrations of those filters are what give you the perception of an individuated experience. We are not individuals. We perceive ourselves to be, but we are not. We are one and the same. Different fractals of one consciousness, experiencing different experiences together, yet separately. Well, if creation wanted us one, then why are we separate? For efficiency. For efficiency. If you want to document an item and see it from all its angles, so you can really understand the dimensions, the nuances, all these little minute details, do you use one camera or do you encircle that item with cameras all around, recording every single detail simultaneously? And that's why we think we're individuals. And it's not bad to think you're an individual, to live your life as an individual. But at the end of the day, we also have to understand what we allow to happen to someone else eventually will come back to us. It will come back to you. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We sit here in the United States of America and turn our nose up at countries who take their rights, their citizens' rights away. Like, oh, that's over there. That's them. They're fucking crazy over there. How's it feel now? Your civil rights have been infringed upon. How's it feel now? Don't feel too good, does it? Doesn't feel too good. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep going through it where it's like we think that's just somewhere else. It's somewhere else. It's not us. It's not over here. Over here is nice and safe. Just wait until it happens to you. Now, all these people who are so like, ooh, it's a homeless person. How does it feel to know you're at risk? Very real risk at this point. Your hours have been cut. Your bills are piling up. How are we going to pay rent? I'm about to lose my house. Where am I going to go? How does that feel? I can't celebrate that. I don't feel good knowing that there are so many people who have such disdain for those who are homeless. And here they are struggling, about to become homeless. And I can't even feel smug about it. It's not okay with me. But it's like we've refused to allow ourselves to see the effects of struggle on other people because we're comfortable. Someone once asked me, when will this change? When will the world change? When will all this COVID stuff be done with? When every single one of us is inconvenienced. Because really, the way society is structured, unless the inconvenience directly affects you, you really don't give a shit. It's like, oh, too bad for them. Oops. So I'm here. Hey, we all got to suffer. We all got to suffer for the suffering to stop. And if that's what we have to go through so everyone can be elevated, everyone's needs can be addressed, and we can all be equally important, then bring it on. Bring it on. We'll survive it. It'll hurt like hell. It'll hurt more than it needs to. But that's because we chose that. And I don't say you chose that. I say we chose that. Because not one single person can make this happen. It takes all of us participating in whatever way we do, either through avoidance or full-on immersion. We are bringing to fruition whatever it is this is. It's a new vision where we all get to rise. All of us. Card number 30, truth. The truth is coming back. The truth is coming back. Okay. Yeah. Surfism. You guys don't know what surfism is? You don't know what it is to be a serf? We're basically serfs glorified, where you are forever in debt. And the work that you do, whatever income you make, it's not yours. That has to be given to the Lord of the land. What do you think property tax is? Serfdom. You don't own your house. Oh, yeah, they rent. I own. Let me correct you. You don't own that house. So long as you make mortgage payments, you're renting. Rent to own, which most people don't own. Oh, but now I have my title, my deed in my hand. I own this house. Do you own the land? You pay property tax? No, you don't own the land. You're borrowing it. You're borrowing it. And when you purchase land, you neither get water rights nor mineral rights. That means if somewhere near your property they find oil, that's not your oil. It's not yours, even if it's on your land. That's not yours. You're renting the dirt on top. We are serfs, modern day serfs. And if people think, well, I make over 100,000. Yeah, so you're a fancy serf. You fancy, but you're still a serf. I just come on now. Come on now. All of us are. Unless you come from what? Old money. You know what old money is? You know how much human blood, sweat, and tears are involved in old money? Let me just okay. The truth is coming back. The truth. It's time for us to see the beauty of this truth. Okay? Beauty, truth. Truth is beautiful. If you amplify change, 5 being the number of change, Michael just pointed this out. If you multiply that change, 5 being the number of change, 5 times 6 is 30. When we continue to see life as beautiful, eventually we'll see the truth in that beauty. And that is change. Let's see. Card number 26, set personal boundaries. It's okay for you to get prickly. It's okay for you to be prickly. Does the rose feel shame or apologize when it is mishandled? Set personal boundaries. There's this one plant I had been growing it for some time, and I harvested it before we left the farm and I let it dry out. And maybe like a week ago, because I kept it with me, maybe about a week ago, I felt like it was dry enough for me to begin processing it. Um, it has it has needles on it. Not just thorns, they're fucking needles. Okay. Literally, they look like needles have been attached to it. And um I didn't show this flora the respect that it needed. I didn't pay attention and I grabbed it. Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! And I was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And that one piece, it's just one. It was about this long. That one piece, I couldn't use it for what I was making. I was making a protective smudge blend. No, it's not stinging nettle. Um, so yeah, I couldn't use that because I disrespected that plant. And some might be like, oh, that's so dramatic. Actually, it's not. When the plant matter, if you are doing sacred work with herbs, um, flora, you have to have the proper level of respect. The work you do is sacred. Okay. And if you don't have that, I was rushing, so I couldn't use that piece. I just couldn't. It let me know I failed to keep the proper level of respect for the work that I was doing. So it didn't need to apologize to me. I instinctively knew, okay, I fucked up. I got to restart everything. That piece I can no longer use. And it didn't need to apologize. It didn't harm me. I harmed myself because I didn't allow myself to be fully present in that moment. I did that to myself. So when someone mishandles you, do you need to feel bad, to feel sorry that your built-in machinations did their job? The rose has thorns for a reason. And if you mishandle those thorns, it's your own bad. Okay. So set personal boundaries. Do not feel bad for enforcing those boundaries. Because if you're not going to enforce the boundaries, they're nothing but lines in the sand, lines to pee on. They don't mean anything. Okay. I see a lot of people do this, especially parents. They before when my kids were really, really small, like they're all toddlers at the time. People be like, "Oh my god, your kids are so well behaved. How do you do it? My kids don't listen to me." Because my words aren't empty. I'm not gonna tell my because I would hear some people who have said this to me, ask me this. I've heard them say, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you" to their kids. I'm like, "Why the fuck would you say that? You gotta go beat them now." I'm not gonna say something to my kids that are not going to be followed through. That's I don't threaten to spank or beat my kids or slap my kid. I hear a lot of parents doing that. That's some bullshit kind of behavior, parent. That is some bullshit. You don't treat children like that. But if my child is out of hand, I will say in a very firm manner, look, I have asked you several times. Do we need to start discussing spanking? You know how I feel about spanking. I don't like it. But is that what you need me to say? Need me to do in order for you to stop the behaviors that are not appropriate? And they'd be like, no, mommy, you don't need to spank me. I'm like, okay, why do I even have to ask you this? And that's why my children listen because they know if I say something, I'm going to do it. I will give you a warning. If you do it again, I will do what I said. Take away your electronics, tell you to be quiet. Like, don't force me to be a parent I don't want to be. Do I have to be apologetic for having boundaries and enforcing them, even with my children? No. Because as my children witness this, they begin to understand the importance of boundaries and maintaining their own. If you are not reactive to your 5-year-old, there's no point in testing the waters. Your child is learning causation and effect at your detriment. If you don't teach the child, they will test and teach themselves. My children know about causation and effect. If you choose to do that, only you will receive that effect. I'm not going to tell you to stop climbing on the fence. Think, take a moment to think. What are the possible outcomes of this? I mean, it's one thing to be climbing, it's another thing to be using it as a tight wire. What do you think might happen? I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to sit here and watch. And then he wobbled, and I was like, did you experience enough to understand? Yes, mommy, I don't want to do that again. It's not safe. Okay, well, there you go. Now you know. So, card number 20, higher ground. You have to take higher ground. What that means is using higher levels of consciousness to filter what you are viewing, what you are witnessing, what you are hearing. So when someone comes at me crooked and starts saying all this crazy stuff to me, I'm going to filter all of that through higher levels of consciousness. Okay, is it really me? Or are they just having a bad day? You know? Higher levels of consciousness. Putting a child in the corner is teaching them that being alone is punishment, that having just themselves is a bad thing, and it will set them up for quite a bit of internal struggle later on in life. They will really, really internalize that. These are the people who, and depending on how severe it gets, these are the people who can never be alone, who will allow their time and space to be filled with such levels of toxicity just so they aren't alone. It doesn't even matter. I just don't want to be by myself. They will also be the people who will feel unsafe in connections. I trusted you and you abandoned me, you rejected me and put me in the corner. These are the people who, depending again on the severity of that psychology, that the pathology of their psychology, because it damages their sense of self. These are the people who some will become drug addicts. So, yeah, the corner isn't hitting them, but it is an attack on their sense of self, their self worth, their self love, their ability to enjoy their own company. So really think on that. Really, really think on that. I'm not going to tell you how to parent, but I see you've commented several times encouraging corners. That's the effect of corners. It is not physical abuse, but it can very well be mental and emotional abuse. And we just have to be very careful in the way we choose to teach. Okay, because the real meaning of discipline is to teach. And what are you teaching them? When I used to put my children in timeout, um, I wouldn't say get in the corner, you're in trouble. I would say, you know what? You need to take a moment and think. You need a little bit of your alone time to think about what's going on because I'm starting to struggle with the way I feel about what you're doing right now. And I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with the behavior. So I need you to take some time and think for yourself. They don't have to be in a corner. They don't have to face the wall. I see some parents that do that. Hey, I'm not going to tell people how to parent, but this is the things that I see. This is the things that I see. My children are highly precocious. There was a period of several months where I was very, very depressed and I couldn't parent in the way that I prefer. And yes, get in the corner. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm just so mad. And I thought for me, saying that would explain to my child, who knows me very, very well, that I'm about to lose control. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to be that kind of mother. So go over there right now. You know what my child said to me? It's okay, mommy. I understand. Sometimes I'm a bad kid and I have to be in the corner so I don't hurt my family anymore. The whole corner thing, that stopped right then and there. It's okay, mommy. I know I did something to really, really make you feel out of control and I was being really bad. And I understand. I'm just saying, all kids are different. All kids are different. And just because there's a discussion afterwards, if you crumple paper and then you straighten it out and discuss later why, it's still crumpled. If I strike my child in his face, he said something that I felt was disrespectful and I smacked him in his face because that's a very common parenting tactic. Smack you in the face. Then we'll talk about later how you should have adjusted the way you speak to me. They've already been struck. Whatever you say after that really doesn't even matter. It really doesn't even matter. They've already been struck. The injury has already occurred. So, again, I'm not telling anyone how to parent, but these are the things that I witness children going through. This is the very reason I parent the way I do. I'm not parenting my child. I am assisting the next generation. I'm helping them to remember to keep their sovereignty intact, to hold themselves accountable, to rise to higher levels of consciousness as they exist on such a low level plane of existence. I'm not a better parent than anyone. I just observe very deeply. I observe very, very deeply the causations and effects. Most people don't understand this. And it's not that you're a bad parent if you put your child in the corner, it's that just really think about it. Really think about how it's affecting them. Talk to them before they're in the corner. Hey, what does it make you feel like when you're in the corner? What do you think I'm trying to tell you when I ask you to go in the corner? What's a better way for me to communicate my needs to you? Because we're a team. We're doing this together. And that's one of the main things. So many of us put ourselves in the corner as adults because of what we perceive to be failures on our part. And is it really a failure? Or is it just a lesson in how not to do it? The things you learn as a child greatly affect you as an adult. The way you're parented as a child is the foundation from which you build the rest of your life. And again, I'm not a perfect mom. My kids will tell you, and they're allowed to say what they feel. You're not allowed to disrespect me in the way you deliver how you feel, but you're absolutely allowed to share your feelings. You are allowed to exert sovereignty. A few days ago, my son was talking to me about generational trauma, generational toxicity. And he's ridiculously intelligent. And he's talking about how, there's such a stigma for men, especially, where you have to appear a certain way. You can't allow yourself to appear weak by expressing your feelings. You're not allowed to cry. All of this toxicity built up, creating blockages, obstructing the flow of energy, creativity, manifestation. He's talking about all of this. And I'm just like, right? Right? And one of the most beautiful, beautiful things he's ever said is that he's thankful. He's thankful that all the things that I've chosen to do as a parent, even the ways in which I've failed, have all ultimately led up to him being independent, knowing he's responsible for himself, taking accountability for his decisions, and just being a good person. That's a beautiful thing. That's a very, very beautiful thing. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, there will be people who will not agree with your parenting choices, your parenting strategy. Ultimately, you're the parent. That's why I say I'm not trying to tell anyone how to parent, but just really consider, even if it's not physical, separation from the whole is one of the most violent acts. As you are separated from your mother during birth, that is a violent act. When you withhold yourself from the collective whole, that is a violent act. I'm speaking in terms of spirituality. It is violent. And although your human eyes don't see physical violence, their elevated sensitivity because of a higher level of consciousness. These kids are more evolved than the most intelligent, most developed, enlightened adult alive today. We need to learn our place. These children are more evolved than we are. And it's not our place to try and convince them that they must bend to the will of a system that is toxic, that really enslaves the mind, the heart, the soul. It is not our place to do that. It is our place to teach them to hold themselves accountable, to always strive to reach higher levels of understanding, higher levels of compassion, grace, to keep their sovereignty intact. So as they become an adult, they will be fully empowered to fulfill the purpose they promised to come into this life to fulfill. And that's all it is. That's really all there is. That's all it is. We're here to assist. We're not here to turn them into who we believe they should be. We need to just breathe. We need to just breathe as we allow them and just really everyone in our lives to follow their own path, their own intuition, all of that. All right, shit. I gotta go. I thought I was done. Shit. Okay. I'll give you guys the last couple cards. Okay. So card number 10, releasing allegiances. You have to be loyal to you, not to anyone else, to you first. Is this in alignment with your truth? Are you uncomfortable with it because it's not aligned? Or are you uncomfortable with it because it's taking you to the outermost limits of your comfort zone? It's preparing you for growth. So, kind of assess, where is this comfort coming from? Where is this discomfort coming from? And release the allegiances that keep you bound to systems, connections, relationships that perpetuate toxicity in your life. So, card number 47, individuality. You are an individual. That is a perception you were born into. You don't have to fit in. Remember, we are all fragments, fractals of a singular consciousness. And the most efficient way for this consciousness to grow is by witnessing one event from all the angles. So we're not all supposed to be on the right or on the left. We're placed exactly where we're supposed to be in order to experience what we're here to do. Okay. Card number 10, suppression. I think many of us are prepared to free ourselves at this point. Mentally, we are preparing ourselves to be free of all of this BS. And it almost seems like they're attempting to close the gates that allow you access to the outdoors. The outdoors being outside the box. Many of us are very much pressured to continue to exist within the box. I mean, could you imagine that? If I chose to continue to exist within the box, you guys would have never witnessed any of this journey. Because in the box, nothing that I say and do is allowed. Everything I stand for, all the work that I do, all my personal beliefs, they go against the box. I would need to suppress and hide all of that. What would that be like if I tried to be normal? What would it be like if I censored all of these truths that just come out my mouth and I'm left wondering, like, what the fuck did I just say? I don't know. I don't know what it would be like. So, card number 48, co creation. We are co creating this world. If you think your voice doesn't matter, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I hear quite often that just hearing me talk about different things has such a profound effect on some people. Not because I'm right, not because I know more, but because the difference in the way I see things encourages and inspires them to look at their circumstance in a shifted manner, just a little shift. And suddenly they have clarity. Not because I gifted them clarity, not because, again, I know better. No, by witnessing me be myself, they're now encouraged and inspired to give themselves permission to own their life, own their journey, and really look at their truth without any filters of distortion. That's powerful. We are co creating. We are co creating. Be yourself, own your truth. Allow people witnessing your journey to be inspired by you. You don't have to hide your pain, you don't have to hide your struggles. Because we're all hurting, we're all struggling in one way or another. Something is hurting you. Might not be the same kind of hurt that someone else is having, but pain is pain, and all of us have it. All of us struggle. All of us are looking for answers outside of ourselves. Within, well, it, but in reality, the answers are within. So, card number 36, which the magic you seek is inside of you. Let it flow. They're attempting to suppress the flow of your magic. Okay. Magic is real, y'all. Magic is real. It's not no David Copperfield, Chris Angel illusion. Magic is something else, and how we've begun to define it as society. It's something else. It is a magnification of the truth that has been liquefied and allowed to run through your veins. Your magic is your genome. Your ancestors have lived thousands of years cultivating all this other coding, intermingling, just to produce you. How many people had to live for you to exist right now? Tell me that shit ain't magic. Tell me that shit ain't magic. In the world of cannabis, that's like how many cycles of hybridization occurred before I had this super strain? How many failures? How many successes? This is some potent shit. I don't smoke. I don't know why that analogy came out, but I don't smoke. It felt right. Card number 5, clear out the old. Just clear it out. Blind yourself to your perception of what hurt you. Instead of focusing on this person did this to me, it's their fault. Look what they did, the ways in which they failed me, the ways in which they hurt me, the ways in which this, the ways in which that, them. No, honey, it's not them. Focus now on you. Blind yourself to their identity. What was that pain teaching you? Doesn't matter who delivered it. Receive your message. Think on it. What's your soul telling you? Stop distracting yourself with who the messenger is, and instead, do your work and focus on the message. What was your soul teaching you? Learn your lesson so it doesn't repeat. And that's the thing. People can get so caught up in the messenger. I mean, I've done that too. My life has become so much more peaceful, flowing so much more easily, so much more powerfully when I released the need to identify the messenger. Do you need to know the name and history of your Uber driver before you can enter the Uber? Do you need to know the name and the history of your FedEx man? Hmm. I once had a delivery and it was a large one, and the FedEx man started talking to my husband, and they started talking about all kinds of guns. And I was just like, uh, d like, "We got our package. Let him leave. Let him leave." You don't need to know all that. I mean, it was nice that him and everybody talks to my husband. Everyone sees him as a friend. Complete strangers. He gets them to tell him all sorts of things. So that's the message, you guys. Just breathe. You've gotten all of this information to kind of help you assess your journey, where you're at, the potential lessons you're learning, um, possibly some things regarding connections with other people. Just kind of sift through all of this and see how it applies. And it's okay if it doesn't apply. Not everything I read will resonate. Don't try and make it. Not all the messages are for you. It's okay. It's okay. And sometimes the messages that you don't quite understand how it fits in your life and it's not for you, sometimes those are the ones that are really painful, and it's a good thing that you don't resonate. So please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, join me when I'm live. In addition to that, if you want to sign up for that text notification, the instructions are in the description of this video. Also, I just want to take a moment again to thank all of you for the outpouring of support and love, after I went live last night to kind of talk about, some of the struggles my family is facing right now. Um, I'm floored. I'm floored. I'm like so floored. I'm trying to think of ways to show my appreciation. In addition to that, while I'm in California, I know quite a few of you are also from California. I'm going to try and see what I can do about meeting up in person I'm scared. I'm gonna try and see what I can do about meeting up in person. Also, I've left my website. The entire website is at 40% off. Um, the proceeds from all of that will also go towards my brother's medical expenses and just a whole bunch of like I'm so overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed in a bad way. Overwhelmed in it's hard to allow myself to receive, and the amount of support, it just leaves me speechless. It leaves me speechless knowing everyone is having their own problems. Everyone is having their own like financial struggles, and so many people have messaged that they've given everything, emptied out their bank, and I'm like, "Oh my god, but what about you?" I want you guys to be taken care of too. I definitely appreciate it so deeply. And for those of you who are like, I only gave X amount and it's not much, the fact that you could even give, even just sharing, I mean, that alone, I'm so thankful that you share and show support in that way. And you guys, I don't want you to put yourself in a position where you're struggling because you helped me. That would make me feel very, very badly. So if you can't give, just share that. I'm so thankful just for that. Anything beyond sharing, I love you guys. I love you guys a lot. Thank you for sharing space with me. Thank you for supporting me and just letting me say things. All right, I got to get going. I love you guys. Bye.